Very weird week. You know what I mean? And what spooks me even more is, because everyone was giving me a heads up to the whole, it's Easter week and you shall walk in his footsteps in some sort of metaphoric journey. And dude, it's totally been happening to the point where it's kind of like predictable and ironic and spooky when these things happen. Whether they be, epiphanies that you have or, letdowns of bad luck, pickups of good luck. But something's clearly going on that's different. It's not my imagination. 'Cause, like I said, I'm getting confirmation from those I trust around me that are saying like they can tell there's a difference with me. And, I had a few instances today where even they admitted, wow, this is a very unusual day for us. And since you were a part of that day, we have to confirm that, yeah, you're right. Bizarre once in a year or once in a 2 year things or occasions are occurring almost on a daily or sometimes even like hourly basis. And it must be happening to you because if it's happening to us on some level, and you're saying like everyone you interact with is a part of this, then it's like 20 times for you, and that's exactly how it's been. And it's really fascinating because some of the thinking that I'm having is just like it's almost pathetic how deep and introspective, true to life, like opinion or not, like good God, like how did you get yourself into this conversation with yourself? And what an amazing theory on that. And then you're like, well, how that works. It's not a theory. But something I was saying today, I had been telling everyone about something that I had been doing as an experiment. This is extended all the way to last summer, where I had been running into incidents of what I call, what are the odds that would happen? Bad luck. Okay? And this is probably the first time I actually had witnesses to these events. And I specifically pointed out an event where I would go and visit a friend of mine, and what appeared to happen over a month, like every time, was bizarre incidents or events, episodes that would not allow me to make my final arrival back home. Once I pointed this out to them, we did everything we could. I mean, I would have like cabs on standby, right? I'd have all this money. I'd have, someone who was going to drive me home. No matter what we did, something got into the way and would not let me get home. It was spooky. It was eerie. And we didn't know what to make of it. And the thing we finally deduced from that was fuck the odds, because if you were to tell someone, do you know Don, with the help of 10 people, it's impossible for him to get home if he visits us. On the same day he visits us, he will not be able to leave here for some bizarre reason. Lightning may even strike. What are the odds of that? And then we're like, if that's the case, that means there's no such things as odds. Some outside factor was getting involved. Or maybe in your case. No. No, 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 no. What I'm saying is maybe we don't notice it. Maybe it's always that way. It's just with things that you say, what are the odds of lightning striking place twice? It's just convenient that's not the magic trick done. But in other areas, because you think lightning can't strike twice in a place, lightning is struck 100 times in the same place in a day. But when someone tells you about it, you don't believe it. Why? Well, because you keep watching the place that never gets struck twice. It's almost like a ruse. And then when you experience these bizarre, like, what are the odd events? It starts getting you down because you feel steered. It feels as if something else is totally controlling your life. The concept of free will gets tossed out the window, and that gut feeling of terror that we get now and then kind of hits you. But what I've noticed is in some areas, just like a spinning cycle, some of these areas of bad luck have been changing slowly but surely. My perception of them, because I'm so keenly aware of them and paranoid of them, is on all the time. What's your point? My point is this. Now, it's going to seem kind of plain what I'm saying, but think about this. Almost everything that we have happened to us in life, almost everything, we base it off of a moment, a no turning back moment. That's when we knew for sure. Or then all of a sudden, things changed. All that is the moment you perceived a change that had been beginning God knows how much longer before that. Where you became consciously aware that something that was the norm could be a breakup with somebody. Okay? Your friends could have seen that coming, as they say, right? But you didn't. So it's interesting that we don't really analyze events as these extended episodes as much as we do everything was this way and then bam, it changed in a minute. Bullshit. That's not the way it works. That's not the way it works. So what do you realize now? I realize that even though it appears that way with many things in my life, there may be very crazy events. They're not lightnings out of the sky. I simply am not, we are not picking up signs that some people can pick up on, that are precognition, are seeing this is eventually going to happen. We are thinking, but how do you know that? And then they're right. But when it happens, when you break up with your boyfriend, you think of that night or that day, oh, it was terrible, I remember it was raining and this and that. Yeah, that's your thing. You remember that day. We never analyzed that it had been beginning, and that was just the moment you came to conscious realization of a change. Now, so what? No, it's a big deal, because what it means is you're marking calendar points in your life of things changed on this date, on that date. No, things are constantly changing. You simply realized something on that date, and God knows how that happened. It's just a roll of the dice. Some things you realize quicker than others. But to mark anniversaries and things like that would almost be pointless, because those events that initially started happened because people had either planned them or the universe had planned them. And we think, wow, this is the day that something happened, someone was born. No, the day that three people had sex or met at the bar is where that process began. And some people could say, oh, I bet you they have kids. And you think, wow, it was that one special night, remember in May? And everyone's laughing like, dude, we knew you guys were going to do it months ago. But in your minds, it's all about that date in May. And when you construct your life around that, you start thinking that things can be changed for the better or for the worse in an instant. And actually, it's very easy to read probably days, weeks, maybe even months ahead of time of anything that will occur to you. Makes sense, doesn't it?